So welcome all of you once again for the last topic in your macroeconomics, that is balance of payment. So today we are going to see the contents in balance of payments, such as what is balance of payment, what do you mean by balance of trade, components of balance of payment that are current and capital account, equilibrium and disequilibrium balance of payment, and accommodating and autonomous items in balance of payment. So with respect to balance of payment, we would like to say one thing. This is also related to international trade policy and measures, one of the macro variable. In the same way that we have seen in the chapter foreign exchange, this is also connected with the international trade. So, if we are concerning about this chapter, we say balance of payment. Now, in respect to balance of payment, we would like to say it is basically a statement of all the economic transactions that are concerned with the receipts and payments of visible item, invisible item, and unilateral transfers with capital transfers. So, if we highlight this point, we can say balance of payment is basically a statement that is concerned with the receipts and payments that we can call it as economic transactions of, say, visible items, invisible items, unilateral transfers, and capital transfers. With rest of the world. It means, again we say, balance of payment is basically a statement of all economic transactions that are concerned with receipts and payment of all items that are visible items, invisible items, unilateral transfers, and capital transfers with the rest of the world. It means whatever the economic transactions that are being concerned with the international trade measures or in the content of international, we are making the receipts and payment from one country, our country, to another country. In respect of all these items, we can say we are facilitating BOP as a whole. So, if we are concerned with visible item, we say that goods are visible items. It means whatever the physical appearance goods that are being transacting between our country with the rest of the world, right? The economic transaction of such goods or visible items will be included on an element of BOP. Again, if we say with respect to invisible items, we are concerned with the services of factor as well as non-factor inputs. Right? So if we are concerned with the factor input, it means the services of labor. If we are concerned with the services of non-factor inputs, we are concerned with the services of banking, insurance. Fine. Now, unilateral transfers are basically one-sided transfer. We can have examples, say remittances, gifts, grants, donations. Let it be they are coming into India, they are going out of India. Let it be, we can say, receipts and payments of unilateral transfer. And with regard to transfer, capital transfer, we can say they are impacting the assets and liabilities of a country or a nation. So if they are impacting assets and liabilities, it means they can lead to borrowings or FDI or PI, right? So we can say such amount will be turning it as capital transfers. So capital transfers are basically concerned with getting the ownership in one country's land, or we can say they are just getting the amount invested in the shares and securities of another country in the form of PI, making an FDI, giving the loans to a country. Such transfer, such receipts and payment will be termed as capital transfers. There, it may also be happen that if we are giving loan to some other country, it means it will be an asset to our own country, India. Fine. It means we say the capital transfers are those transfers that are impacting the assets and liabilities of a country or economy, whereas visible item, invisible item and unilateral transfers are basically such transfers that are not impacting any assets and liabilities of an economy. These unilateral transfers are also called as current transfers. Now, so our definition again says BOP is a statement that is concerned with all the economic transactions that are concerning of receipts and payments of invisible items, visible items, unilateral transfers and capital transfers with the rest of the world. So we can say with this aspect, visible item and invisible item, we can say they are under the terms of exports and imports. Fine. If we talk about import, we need to talk about import of non-factor services, whereas exports of goods of every kind. Let it be heavy and machine, or we can say if we are talking about plant and machinery also, a very costly Indian machinery, big machine, small machine, any kind of technology, machines, goods, if we are exporting and importing within and out of country, they will be coming under visible items. They cannot include any heavy and machine in capital transfers just in order to take it as capital goods so that we can include them in capital transfers. No. They are impacting such transfers, such statements, such transactions are impacting assets and liabilities, but we can say if we are concerning about the goods like plant and machinery, they are also in fact goods. And whenever we are talking about the goods, they will be coming under visible items. Okay? So, this is what we call it as balance of payment. Now we are going to see the balance of trade. So if you look forward to the concept of balance of trade, it means balance of trade is a statement that is concerned with all such economic transactions related to exports and imports of visible items, or that we call it as goods, only with the rest of the world. It means if we talk about balance of trade, so balance of trade is a statement that is concerned with all such economic transactions that are related to exports and imports of visible item, or we say goods only. It means here this is very important to be undertaken. It is balance of trade is just concerned with visible items only. The import and export of visible items, or we can say receipts and payment of visible items with the rest of the world. It means balance of trade does not undertake the import and export of invisibles or receipts and payment of invisible items, or we can say services, or they do not balance of trade does not undertake current transfers or unilateral transfers as well as capital transfers. Such items are not included in balance of trade because balance of trade is only concerned with the visible items. Their import and export with the rest of the world is only to be included in BOP. That's why we say balance of payment is much wider term than balance of trade. if we need to differentiate between the balance of payment and balance of trade, we can easily differentiate on the basis of the elements they are concerning with. It means if we talk about balance of payment, see, balance of payment usually undertake receipts and payments of visible items, receipts and payment of invisible items, receipts and payment of current transfer, or we say unilateral transfers, one-sided transfers, as well as receipts and payment of capital transfers. Whereas if we talk about balance of trade, it only undertakes receipts and payment of visible items only. It means it is concerned with the export and import of goods only. It means this is not included, this is not included, this is not included. That's why we say the balance of payment is a wider term, it is a narrow term or limited term. Okay. Now, extending our concepts to more, now we are coming to the components of balance of payment. If we talk about the components of payment, we are having two components, that is current account and capital account. So, if we talk about first component, that is current account, so current account undertakes all economic transactions with rest of the world in respect of, with respect to visible item, or we say plus invisibles plus current transfers. Whereas capital account undertake all economic transactions with the rest of the world with respect to only capital transfers. It means current account statements or transaction does not impact assets and liability of an economy. Whereas in capital account the statement does impact the assets and liabilities of an economy. Like when we have seen that in current account, when all the economic transaction means all the transactions with respect to receipts and payments of visible items and invisible items as well as current transfers are included, we just need to see it does not impact any assets and liabilities. Means they neither create any asset nor reduce any asset, they neither create any liability nor reduce any liabilities. Whereas if we talk about capital account, it does impact the assets and liabilities because they are concerned with the capital transfer. And we have already discussed what can be the capital transfer they can undertake. Again we say the loans or borrowing if we have taken from International Monetary Fund or World Bank or any foreign banks, it means it will increase liabilities to the economy. Secondly, if we say if we have given the loan to any foreign nation, it will increase our assets. Both the transactions are a capital transaction. Again, if our company, means for example Reliance, Tata, Bank of Baroda, State Bank of India, if they have made any foreign direct investment in any nations abroad, we can say they will impact assets and liabilities of our economy, means our India. Again, if Walmart, Facebook, Microsoft, Vodafone, Samsung, OnePlus, iPhone, if they are making Apple, if they are making any FDI or investment within India, right, or we can say Morgan Stanley, Frankfurt, if they are making any portfolio investment in India in respect of shares and securities in our stock market, it means they are impacting assets and liabilities in our country. Fine. So we can say capital accounts are concerned with all such economic transactions just to the world with respect to only capital transfers, and we told you what we mean by capital transfer. They impact assets and liabilities of an economy, and the examples we already given to you. Now, so basically these are the components of balance of payment. We told that in visible item we have seen that we need to see the goods only. Goods are concerned with consumer goods also, capital goods also, both will be included in this format. It means you cannot say that capital goods will be included in capital transfer because they are impacting the assets and liabilities of a producer. No. Here we are concerned with the goods that are movable, that are transferable from one place to another. Therefore, a machinery can be imported as well as exported between countries. So they will be included as a visible item or goods, and they will be shown in current account. Okay. Now, if we have seen these, the invisible items are concerned with factor services that labor used to give or employee used to give, as well as non-factor services that I already told you: banking, transport, finance, insurance, that are likely to be provided as non-factor. So basically these are the components of balance of payment. Now current accounts and capital account, both are working on a principle. Here we say both current and capital accounts are working on a principle of double entry system, say debit and credit sides. It means if we talk about that how the current account and capital accounts will manage the receipts and payment of their respective elements, we just need to see that both are working with respect to debit and credit base. It means every account is having two sides. One will be known as debit, another will be known as credit. So if we elaborate this one, we can say that in respect of current account, if we maintain two columns, say one will be on debit side, another will be for credit, right? So what we are going to do, how we are going to manage all the outflows or expenditures or payments in respect to visibles, invisibles, as well as unilateral transfers will be shown on debit side. It means if we are purchasing any fixed, if we are purchasing any capital goods or consumer goods, if we are making a payment for the services, if we are making a unilateral transfers abroad, all such content as outflow, expenditure or payment in respect of these three items will be shown on debit side of current account. Likewise, all inflows, incomes, or we can say receipts in respect of, again we say visible items or say visibles, invisible items say invisibles, or unilateral transfers will be shown on the credit side of current account. So, current account is working on the principle of double entry system. It means there will be two sides, the debit side and credit side. Debit side will show all the minus side or the outflow or expenditure of payment option, whereas credit side will show all the plus items that are concerning with inflows, incomes and receipts in respect of these items. Okay. Similarly, if we talk about capital account is again working on the principle of debit and credit side. It means if we talk about the payments of capital transfers, say payment of borrowings, FDI made abroad, portfolio investment made abroad, short-term credit provided abroad, they all will be concerning with the capital transfers will be shown on debit side, right? Likewise, whatever be the receipts to India, they all will be recorded on credit side in respect of capital transfer. It means if we are again saying that we have borrowed the money from international banks or foreign banks or IMF or World Bank, as well as if FDI has been made in India, portfolio investment by foreign institutions, investors have been made in India, right? So we can say these are such examples that can lead us that all such receipts or incomings will be recorded on the credit side of capital account. Fine. So we have seen the two components of BOP, that is current account and capital account. Now we are coming to the equilibrium and disequilibrium in the balance of payment. So if we talk about the equilibrium in balance of payment, then the equilibrium will be met by the following elements when we say when capital account and current account sum becomes equal to 0. It means there will be equilibrium in the balance of payment when whatever is the capital account is having that amount, whatever the current account is having the amount, when the both when they are added will become equal to 0. It means what we need to do, we just need to undertake the receipts and payment of capital transfers. We just need to see the receipts and payment of all the visible item, invisible item and unilateral transfers. When this become equal to 0, it means equilibrium will be met in balance of payment. In simple we can say when receipts are equal to payment. Receipts in respect of capital transfers, receipts in terms of current transfers, receipt in terms of visible items, receipt in terms of invisible items. Likewise, with respect to payment, if this payment are also undertaken for capital transfer, current transfer, visible item, invisible item, if both become equal, we can say equilibrium in the balance of payment will be met. That's why we have taken as when the capital account plus current account will be equal to 0, or when receipts and payment of capital transfer will be added with receipts and payment of visible item, invisible item and unit transfer will become equal to 0, or in simple, when receipt of all items will be equal to payment of all items, equilibrium will be met. Okay. Now disequilibrium will have the two stages. If we talk about disequilibrium case of when receipts are more than payment or when receipts are less than payment. Very simple. It means when receipts of all items are more than payment of all items, or we can say in conclusion, when capital account plus current account sum is not equal to 0. Simple. So disequilibrium case will arise when receipts of all the items are either more than payments of all the items, or receipts of all the items are less than payments of all the items. So there will be a case of disequilibrium, and this disequilibrium will be undertaken or will be met by what we say as accommodating items. So now the last topic that we are going to have is the autonomous and accommodating items. Now in respect of accommodating item, as well as we say with respect to, first of all we say with respect to autonomous items, we say these are the items that lie above the line of BOP. It means these are the items that are basically concerned with profit maximization. It means items concerning profit maximization, item concerning increase in the surplus balance of payment. Surplus means when receipts are more than payment, as we have seen, right? And deficit means when receipts are less than payment. Now, if we talk about accommodating items, such items lie below the line of BOP. They are just concerned with meeting the errors and omissions as well as disequilibrium in the balance of payment. It means let it be surplus or deficit. If there is disequilibrium in the balance of payment, they just need to facilitate the equilibrium. When there will be surplus, from the surplus, see, if we talk about when there is surplus BOP, it means in such case, with the surplus amount, what we can do, the RBI or monetary authorities of a country can purchase gold reserves or forex to be kept for emergency in future. That is basically an example. What can we do with the surplus amount so that we can equalize or maintain the equilibrium level in balance of payment if we are having surplus BOP. And again, if we say when there is deficit balance of payment, see students, we already know that surplus balance of payment is where the receipts are basically more than payment, and deficit where receipts are less than payment. So in case where there is a deficit in the balance of payment, the RBI or monetary authorities of a country can resort to borrowings from foreign nations or IMF or World Bank in order to facilitate the equalization of equilibrium balance. So, whenever the accommodating items are being concerned, they lie below the line of BOP, and since they are not the main contents of the BOP, their role arise only when there is surplus or deficit in balance of payment, and they usually work through the process of official reserves. It means official reserves are those reserves that are maintained by RBI and it is used to balance the equilibrium of BOP. It means whenever there will be surplus BOP, the equal amount of official reserve will be shown as a negative amount so that the sum of surplus BOP and official reserve together will make it zero. I repeat once again, accommodating items generally in case of surplus BOP and deficit BOP are undertaken with the help of official reserves. These official reserves are being undertaken by RBI or monetary authorities of a country that is concerned, that leads to the equalization in the disequilibrium way by making the equal amount of surplus or deficit in order to make it zero. I have given an example. If there is surplus BOP, which means the amount will be in positive form or positive number. If the surplus BOP is lies, official reserve will be shown as a negative amount below the line in equal amount of the surplus BOP to make it zero. Right? Since we need to make the last balance of payment as zero. So if there is deficit BOP, it means the amount is in negative. The amount equal to deficit BOP will be shown as plus amount in official reserve, again in order to make it zero balance of payment. This is what the role of official reserve in maintaining the equilibrium in case of disequilibrium process of cases, in case of surplus as well as deficit. So basically, students, this is a chapter of balance of payment, a short topic but yet important from every aspect. We just need to go through it, and now we can say that these are the basically contents of macroeconomics that we have undertaken with you. I am very sure that this lecture will be very helpful for you all, and your assignments will be completed here very soon. Okay, so thank you so much, students, for joining with us. We will be coming to the next session with respect to Indian economic development part 2. Till then, stay safe, stay happy, stay alive. Thank you so much everyone. See you very soon.